Hi, my name is Heidi Cummings. I'm a member of the Wholesale Reform Delivery team here at AEMO. This video is the first of a series that explains the Frequency Performance Payments, or FPP reform, which comes into effect on the 8th of June 2025. I will be introducing the goals and fundamentals of this reform. The rest of the series provides an in-depth description of the calculations involved as well as worked examples. Links to the other videos, the PDF of my presentation, and other resources can be found in the text accompanying this video. Finally, before I get started, the information I'll be presenting is intended for a broad stakeholder audience and is an overview only. We recommend that participants should read the frequency contribution factors procedure to understand further details. So, what is frequency and why is it so important? Frequency can be thought of as the heartbeat of the power system. It reflects the balance between electricity supply and demand. In Australia, we seek to keep system frequency at 50 Hz. Frequency deviates from 50 Hz as the system becomes unbalanced. The more unstable frequency becomes, the greater the risk of negative events in the power system, including units tripping off and, in the worst case scenarios, outages that leave consumers without power. In the National Electricity Market, or NEM, there are a number of obligations and market mechanisms that help balance the energy supply and demand and support the stability of system frequency. During normal operation of the NEM, units can provide two types of response to help control frequency. The first is primary frequency response, or PFR. This is an automatic, immediate response to frequency deviations that units provide to stabilize the frequency within seconds of any disturbance. Secondary frequency control refers to the regulation FCAS, a slower, more sustained response that involves automatic generation control, or AGC. Through AGC, AEMO can adjust the output of selected units to correct frequency deviations within minutes. But how does the FPP reform fit into this? As the power system transitions towards renewable generation from many more suppliers, maintaining the supply-demand balance is becoming more challenging. Consequently, the ability to control system frequency is of increasing importance. The new arrangements are intended to incentivize helpful frequency response from facilities such as electricity generators, large loads, and batteries. The FPP reform introduces clear economic signals that will enable facility operators to understand their frequency performance and respond in real time to help maintain power system frequency. As facility operators see and respond to these incentives, the frequency performance that is required by the power system of the future should be provided at the lowest overall cost to consumers. The reform can be broken down into two parts. The first component involves the introduction of a double-sided frequency performance payments process. This aims to incentivize the provision of PFR by rewarding units that provide helpful frequency performance and penalizing units that have unhelpful impacts on system frequency. Under the FPP system, each participant receives a credit or debit in every 5-minute trading interval based on their performance. The second element of this new procedure involves enhancing the process of recovering regulation FCAS costs. The current method of allocating these costs to market participants, known as causa pays, will be replaced. Under FPP reforms, the cost of regulation FCAS will be recovered from units that have a negative impact on system frequency. Each unit will receive a portion of the cost with respect to how unhelpful its frequency performance was. The FPP calculation process runs every 5 minutes. AEMO evaluates the frequency performance of a unit over the last trading interval based on whether it behaved as expected and how this behavior impacted system frequency. The unit's frequency performance is used to calculate a contribution factor, which reflects the extent to which the unit contributed to controlling system frequency, with negative values indicating an unhelpful response and positive values a helpful one. AEMO also determines a default contribution factor using the unit's frequency performance over a 7-day historical period. To assign the FPP trading amount, which is basically a monetary value for the unit's performance, AEMO multiplies the contribution factor by a scaling factor. This scaling factor is the system's valuation of frequency response within the trading interval. Finally, the costs for regulation services used in a trading interval are allocated based on negative contribution factors, and the costs for regulation services not used in a trading interval are allocated to consumers based on default contribution factors. As I've said, under the FPP reform, facilities will be rewarded for helpful performance and penalised for unhelpful performance. The amount debited is strongly linked to how closely a unit followed its reference trajectory. A unit's reference trajectory shows its expected active power output or consumption as determined in AEMO's dispatch process. Facilities that deviate from their reference trajectories in an unhelpful manner can expect to receive FPP penalties. Market participants can improve the alignment of a unit's behaviour with its reference trajectory in a number of ways. Firstly, capital investment in technologies that are able to follow plant set points more closely and provide primary frequency response would improve the FPP outcomes of variable renewable energy facilities such as wind or solar farms. For example, the helpful performance of a co-located battery can compensate for the variation from solar or wind farms, especially when their generation falls short of forecasted output. Units can also compensate for the inherent limitations of forecasting variable renewable energy output by increasing their headroom. If facilities have a large buffer for when they cannot meet their targets, they can reduce the degree to which they deviate from their reference target at the time. A final method to improve the outcomes of FPP is by improving the accuracy of self-forecasts. The expected output provided to AEMO by participants who self-forecast directly impacts their reference trajectory, assuming there are no limitations in the network. The more accurate these forecasts are to their actual output, the smaller the deviations. Thinking now about the delivery of this initiative, I will touch briefly on the key milestones to come. From December 2024 to May 2025, there will be an extended period of non-financial operation of the new FPP system. This will allow market participants to familiarise themselves with its operation and see what FPP outcomes would result from actual performance prior to the commencement of financial flows under the scheme. The new FPP arrangements will officially go live on the 8th of June 2025. If you require further information, please visit AEMO's FPP project page or email us at fppconsultation@aemo.com.au. That concludes the introductory video of our FPP series. If you would like to know more, please watch some of our other videos or refer to the resources available on AEMO's website. Thank you.